Okay, so we're back here and we're going to do now the project for the Rembrandt Week 13 Great Artist Cycle 2, where we're doing self-portraits. So for our community, we're going to hang up just those inexpensive, like $5 wall mirrors on the wall and in front of a table so students can see themselves but not have to fumble with holding mirrors, especially with the younger students. That makes it a lot more challenging. Or if the mirrors are too small, then it's easy to get distracted and just like focus on your face when we're really just wanting to look at shapes and proportions, just like we did in the warm-up exercise. So for the self-portrait project, we've got our setup, we've got our mirror, we just need pencil, just using printer paper. That's totally cool. We're just using pencil, so we don't need anything fancy. So I've made a larger grid for the younger students, just like the warm-up exercise, numbered, half line, quarters, same thing. I need that double line, remember, goes on the very bottom. For older students that want to try, I made here a bold grid so that you can slide that underneath another piece of paper and just hold that tight, or use a paper clip, whatever, and to be able to still reference that grid, but then when they are done drawing, they can pull that away and have their portrait to keep working on or take home and not have that grid. But I'd recommend just drawing straight on the grid for the younger kids. So for me to set up a self-portrait, set up with my camera here, like way too complex. I'm obviously doing this pretty simple to just give you guys where we're going. And so I'm using my model here to help me, but I'm still working on those same, proportions. Maybe keep that handy for students so they can remember those parts. And so we're going to get started. So the big part of drawing and artwork is spending a lot of time observing. So have students spend time looking at the shape of their face and remembering that their eyes are halfway down. Take a look at where the outside of their eyes and the inside of their eyes line up according to their nose and their mouth. If they have really wide lips or skinny lips, their ears, really, if students have studied the anatomy and stuff, you could really talk about more grammar there too. But again, time, or maybe invite students to study more at home or keep working at home. Okay, so let's get started. So same thing like our warm-up sheet. I'm going to do that top quarter, do the outline of the head, and want it to be fairly symmetrical, but I can always go back in or just sketch lines in and go back in and erase to smooth things out later. Notice the shape of the jawline, if it's really smooth or really angular. Another trick too is that, so now I got the outline of the face, so I'm going to take I can use my pencil. Oh, this is going to be tricky. I can use my pencil. Let's see if I can get it to line up. I don't think I can. But anyways, I use my pencil and I hold my arm straight out and I can look at the lines of the face to see how the inside of the eye lines up with the mouth. And or I can hold my pencil sideways, or I can pinch my pencil to measure the size of an eye and how that might fit across the face, to see spacing between the two eyes and the spacing between the side of the eyes and the side of the head. But I hold my arm straight so that it's, instead of using another tool like a ruler, I can use my pencil to measure and see space, or hold it up and down to see how features line up. Okay. All right, so I've got the outline of the face. Now again, I'm going to go in and mark the edges of the eyes. So my eyes are just a little bit farther apart. So I'll move them out just a little bit. And just moving quick. Remember, it's not going to be a lot of time. So you're just going to get those features down. And then you can layer in more details. with more time and more looking. It's also a great idea to have students when they go home to use a photograph to study, take a photograph of themselves and work from that to keep working on their portrait. And then we look at the shapes of the eyes, that kind of curve of the inside and the tear duct, and then you draw the fold of the eyelid a little bit. And okay, it's moving quick. And the shape of the eyebrows, how far up they are, if they're lined up with the inside of the eye or if they're in a little bit. I'm just going to do kind of a general contour shape for the eyebrow, and then I can go in and add more marks to make it more realistic, with the little hairs. And shading, we'll cover that in next lesson too. That adds a lot more accuracy. You draw the ears. Are they attached or detached lobes? I'm kind of looking how you make sure my ears line up here. Do some quick lines. Okay, hairline, so my hairline up here a little bit. And you can also talk about different types of lines. So I'm just drawing some implied lines, so they're not completely connected, but they imply it's in the same area. And implied texture here. I'm not drawing every single hair. Okay, so that gets us started. Eyeballs here. You can draw more details, but gets us started. And shape at the bottom of the jaw there. Okay, so it gives us an idea. And we'll talk about shading and cross contour and cross hatching in the Linnaeus lesson next.